Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast. I am Ryan. With me is,
Dedicate.
and today we're talking about the Super Sentai Saikyou Battle, part one of the four-part special that Toei is airing before we move on to the next official Sentai series. It's just the two of us tonight, unfortunately, but there's not a whole lot to say about this special, so it's nothing that can't be caught up on next week.
Yeah, it's a ton of plot though. So basically, the Kaisuku Sentai Gokaiger minus Yellow are getting beaten up by a Purple Knight. Gokai Red charges in, but the Knight hits him with an attack that's very similar to the one that Yellow uses. Basically, just whipping his sword around. Red gets knocked out of his form, then a golden ticket appears in front of his eyes.
I I want to follow that up with his second attack. I think is similar to the one Joe Gokai Blue uses, but they didn't call it out, so maybe it's different. I didn't actually go back to Gokaiger to check though. It just gave me that. It looked a lot like it though.
Yeah, it was a big slash attack, so I don't know.
It could
but
have. It could have also just been similar to their like general finisher.
yeah, or this guy's gonna be like the next Wolzard. That's kind of the feeling I got. So we'll see. Uh, but basically, we get the intro narration, a battle to see who is strongest has begun, and then we get the open. The opening was pretty great. What did you think?
This was a much stronger intro to this than I was expecting. Because it's like, oh, we're doing a little Sentai celebration here at the end of the Heisei era. I thought, oh, that's cool. There's not going to be like much of an actual plot to this. I was wrong. I'm actually surprised that there's as much as there is. You just established a villain right off the bat by defeating one of the strongest Sentai there is, and arguably there's not many Reds that are stronger than Gokai Red, so he's looking for the strongest one. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this. And then we get an actual like intro song, like an opening theme. I was surprised. I didn't think they were going to go that far either. I didn't I wasn't too big on it. It's like, all right, this is a nice little song, but it's not an actual like Sentai intro. It doesn't get me as excited as they normally do. Good song, good little celebration thing, but I look forward to hearing Ryu Soldier's intro when we do get that.
Yeah, for sure. I just really like Nob's voice. He did the Bokenger one, the Gosager one. So, when we come back, we get the episode title Battle 1. Who is the strongest of all time? Question mark. So Keiichiro is working late at night. He wonders when there will finally be peace in the world. And then a golden ticket appears in front of him. A hologram of a girl appears, and she invites him to the Super Sentai Saikyou Battle. He can have any wish granted if he wins. And then he disappears in a flash of light. A ton of little multicolored lights start flying towards this tower on a distant planet. And then we see a bunch of Sentai and even some robot allies are gathered. Even though we don't see all their faces, we do get shots of their outfits. Of course, we get to see our 5 stars. The girl Rita welcomes them to planet Nemesis, and then she splits the Sentai into 32 teams of 5.
That surprised me at first. Is like, okay, so not every Sentai member is in here, and they aren't even close. Because 32 times 5 is 100, and it's like a. Yeah, it's. I didn't prepare to actually do the math here. Sorry. Uh, wait, it's like.
160.
Okay, 160. Thank you. There are over 200 Sentai members as of Kyoryuger, I want to say, around that era at least. So, what we're looking at here is about what 2/3 of them all. But then when I realized, like, oh, when I saw the tournament brackets, like, oh, that makes sense. Now, they're simplifying it. Uh, Also, I like the opening on Cage Hero because Pat Ranger, Looping Ranger versus Pat Ranger just ended, so they still had the actor, and it's like, you know what? Hey, it's nice to see a little after the fact.
Yeah, and I just thought the shot of the different Rangers, even though it's only their outfits, is still a nice homage because typically we just get the suits showing up and fight, so that was kind of nice. So at their team room, Yamato starts the introductions. We have Akaninja Takaharu, who wants to become the new last ninja. Kagura, Toku Gogo, who just wants her family to be happy. Joe Eagle, Yamato, wants to keep a certain promise. And then we get kind of a cute interaction. Kagura notices Stinger's tail. Yamato asks if he's a Juman, and he's just forced to introduce himself as Stinger, Sasori Orange, an alien.
Okay, that would. So, what this really is about is just getting a bunch of veteran Sentai actors together and giving them a little screen time and interaction. And so, what makes this worth it is those moments where you get to see that character be that character and react to what's around him. And so, Yamato asking Scorpio, or Stinger rather, if he's a Juman is like, that's great. That plays in so well to everything his show is about. Uh, Also, one thing I forgot to mention. Uh, the thing about Toku is that tournaments where the prize is the power to grant any wish you want, those don't normally go well. So for that to be the premise of this one, just immediately set off 15 red flags in my head.
Oh, definitely. At least one of them gets suspicious. So, yeah, Yamato has to introduce the standoffish Captain Marvelous, Gokai Red. So yeah,
Which
it's
he actually knows him from in show. So again, we're using the character to his full potential here.
yeah, this works. So it's a pretty interesting team. It's a good mix of personalities. You have the hothead, the energetic kind of kind of scaredy cat one, and then you have Yamato, the super nice guy, who's kind of gonna be the leader, and then Stinger, the cool guy, and Marvelous, the dick. So it's a good mix for sure.
This is also the most pissed I've seen Marvelous. Like in Gokaiger, when Boskov I think kidnapped the rest of his team, I still don't think Marvelous was as pissed as he is right now.
Yeah, maybe he has the thing for Luca for all you shippers out there.
There were a lot of Marvelous Lucas ships during that show.
So, let's see. Rita appears on a screen, calls for the first fight of round one. It's the Oddball Team versus the Serious Team. Our stars are the Oddball Team. And Yamato's kind of surprised that he's an oddball, but whatever, he goes to fight Ase
But
and Ichigo.
I didn't even watch Juoger, and just from what I know, yeah, Yamato's an oddball. Just look at Juoger. They're also the oddball team because they're kind of like the misfits. jumbled together that because there weren't room for them in their own like teams where they would have fitted better.
Yeah, true.
Uh, can
Uh,
we can we talk
Go ahead.
about Rita for a second though?
Sure.
Like her name is Rita, and Rita is also the name of the main villain in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita Repulsa. Rita Repulsa is the American counterpart to the evil witch Bandora from Kiryu Sentai Ranger. And like Rita, Bandora was also sealed away for a long time before waking up and getting out. And for Bandora specifically, she was sealed away on Nemesis, the same place that this tournament is taking place on. So, everything about this character is basically telling me that she's a villain.
Yep, that is a great point for people who haven't seen that Sentai.
Yeah. And this is Vashi's first problem with this special, which is that it's too obvious that she's a villain for him.
Yeah, I mean, this is only 4 episodes, so
Yeah, it's not like. I mean, it already has half a plot, so.
yeah. So Keiichiro politely introduces himself, of course. Yamato says they aren't fighting to the death, so they should just have a fair fight. Rita explains that the first person to get basically this purple gem wins the match, and they have all these made up terms, but basically the gems combine into a big gem, and then you can make a wish. So, of course, Keisatsu change, Yamato transforms, and then we get to see some other Sentais dish it out, which is pretty fun. Especially if you haven't seen like the really old ones in action. So,
Like
Eagle
Bioman.
and oh yeah,
Like, seeing a green Bioman fight is like, oh, huh, okay, so that's how he goes.
yeah. So Eagle and Ichigo are pretty evenly matched until Ichigo says that his wish is world peace. Yamato just straight up stops the fight and tells Ichigo that really everyone's wish is world peace. But that's something you have to work together to achieve. You can't just wish for it. Which was pretty great. Keiichiro asks what his wish is, and then we go to commercial break.
So, if you don't understand, basically, you can't just force world peace to happen. It's something that needs to be worked towards and made happen by everyone. So he's basically saying, yeah, if you just wish for world peace, you're probably going to cause unexpected problems.
Yeah. So Keiichiro lets Yamato win. Yamato promises to keep fighting for peace. And then we get to see a couple more fights. Yamato returns to their room. Takaharu and Kagura ask what his wish is, but he keeps it a secret for now. Juicy.
It's a promise of some kind. So I'm willing to bet it has to do with Jumin World.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, I get to see more fights. Freaking Deca Master is a badass. Right after Boken Yellow, Gao Black, and Green Sai win their fight, the Purple Knight appears, attack, and they don't even scratch him.
So here's where we get into a couple more problems Vashi had. I kind of agree with him, but they didn't bother me as much as they bothered him. First off, why are the fights inconsistent for the first round? Like, why was Yamato and Keiichiro one-on-one, but then some of these are 2v2s or 3v3s? I don't really care that much, but it was bothering Vashi. Because it's just inconsistent. Second off, the fights are a bit short. Like, I like seeing all like these veteran Sentai members go at it, but I want to see them go at it longer. Like, I would have loved to have seen the full fight between Boken Yellow and Shurikenger rather than just at the very end there. With that being said, they're giving us some really great shots here and just some really great like singular moments that they're showing us. So I'm not complaining that much.
Yeah, uh, I enjoyed the little bits of fights. Um, but once again, he uses Luca's technique. Marvelous knew he would show up, and he finally tells them that his name is Geissorg, and he's been attacking Sentai so he can find the strongest. Then Rita just magically appears in their room. She assures them not to worry about Geissorg. She just says she'll take care of it and disappears. Of course, Stinger is suspicious. Then Akaninja and Sasori Orange are up next. Marvelous demands that they stay out of his fight with Geissorg if he happens to show up again. And of course, Stinger just brushes him. Thoughts?
Um, so I actually just thought of something while you were talking. I looked it up earlier, and Geissorg's voice actor is he's basically someone who has had like various one-off roles in miscellaneous different Sentai, mostly a lot of just voice work for like the Monster of the Week, or sometimes even doing like voice roles for veteran members that they couldn't get the actual person back for. Uh, like he did quite a few different roles in Akiba Ranger. And so I thought, well, okay, so maybe this guy is just a new guy. But then you pointed out earlier, like, hey, when they were fighting him before, Luca wasn't there, and he keeps using her technique. What if, like, this person is just voicing him, and it's actually is Luca underneath there? Like, what if she's actually a curse or something, and she's looking for the strongest Sentai member to break the curse? That's just something that I thought of.
Yeah. I definitely do think we're gonna see Luca by the end of this because she was just in the Space Squad versus Q Ranger movie, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah. So we have on Vehicle Team Boken Silver, Eiji, and Go on Red, Sasuke. Awesome. I love these guys. So Go on Red just decides he'll use Speedor to dash to the gym. But
And
Speedor doesn't reply from
so,
his engine, so
so just when he said that, oh, I'll use Speedor, my immediate thought was, wait, you have Speedor right now? Because go on your lore is that the the engines can't exist in another dimension without a good reason. So it's like, wait, you just have Speedor on you, and then Speedor's not actually there. He doesn't respond. It's like, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. It's not for the reason that I thought, but it's like, yeah, okay.
yeah. So Orange deflects. Oh no, that's kind of jumping ahead. So Orange just asks Silver if he's noticed anything strange. He can't contact Surges, but he can transform. Then he uses his signature attack. Orange deflects it and sends it flying to the sky, but it hits a barrier. So looks like they're kind of prisoners. So Gohan Red and Silver seem to have the fight, but then they bump into each other and their transformation. Silver throws out his back. They just start bickering, and of course, the meme that I forgot about, AG pulls out some celery and starts
I
eating
forgot
it.
about that too. And
So silly.
and then Sosuke just gets in on that with a tomato.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? This is why this special exists. This moment right here. Like, yeah, we're all here to see like the fancy suits fight each other in unique but the same ways. But like these moments are why the veterans are here. To just like give us something to laugh out as they interact with each other in ways that you might not expect.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So Aka Ninja just grabs the gem and they win. The losers are teleported away. Then Orange and Aka Ninja are attacked from behind. Huge explosion. It's Geissorg. And of course, Marvelous takes off. So we cut to Riso Black and Green. I'm assuming that's going to be their names. They're scouring some ruins. And then we just get some toy advertising. Black slashes an opening into a cave wall with, I guess, their sword. And they continue.
Correct. Ryuso Black and Green. That is their names. Um, their their character names are Toa and Banba.
And they're brothers, which is interesting.
Are they actually brothers, or was it just like a formality thing? Because Japan does that. It might have just been a formality thing, because that's how I interpreted it.
Uh,
Like,
but they don't do it that much in Sentai.
they don't, unless it's like a little kid looking up to an adult. But that's probably why I thought of it that way, because that's what I'm used to seeing in
Yeah.
Sentai. Uh, so they could actually be brothers.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting either way because in Kyoryuger, Black and Green kind of had like a sibling rivalry going on towards the end, so
Yeah.
it's nice that they're kind of keeping that alive.
And it's also interesting that another point for them probably being actually brothers is that he did say Oni-chan instead of Aniki, right?
I think he said Nissan.
Nissan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that could actually be a point towards they are brothers because he didn't say Aniki.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, what do you think about the first look at the Resoldiers?
I'm actually like curious because they're going on this clear excavation mission. I'm wondering if this is them getting their mechs. If that's what like Black was digging up just then. Like, oh, how do we get inside? And I'm thinking, get inside what? Isn't that a rock wall? What if it's actually like the buried mech underneath the ground and they're just like waking them up? Like, hey, we gotta go.
I'm thinking that they're basically coming to break into the little tournament because Green asks Black if he has a wish, and Black says he doesn't really have one.
Yeah, that.
So they're gonna show up at maybe next
Oh yeah,
episode.
it makes more sense if they're like interfering with the tournament because uh, Geissorg is basically a purple Ryu soldier, which is the most confusing part out of all of this for multiple reasons. Uh, basically, for those of you who don't know, every dinosaur Sentai has an evil ranger. Ranger had the evil Dragon Ranger, who was the evil Green Ranger in the American version, except Dragon Ranger was a bad guy by choice and not hypnotized or anything. Aba Ranger had a Bari Killer, who, if I remember correctly, was just bored and chose to become a villain because it was more interesting to him. And then Kyoryuger had Death Ryuger, which was basically the enemy's attempt to like do something. Death Ryuger was kind of a letdown to me because he didn't get much play and he overall didn't have that big an impact, like unlike the other two. He was also the only one that didn't end up joining the hero team, where Dragon Ranger and Abari Killer eventually do switch sides before they die. So, uh, Geissorg, with his purple Ryu Soldier suit, is basically right now looking to be the role of the evil one for the Sentai. But how far is that going to get carried? Uh, he hasn't had any actual advertisement for the show itself, and next week we're going to get the episode where we find out who he is underneath the mask. Which, thinking about it, the hair kind of looks doesn't really look like it would be Luca's hair, so it might not be her after all. Plus, the suit doesn't make much sense, anyways. So I'm
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like, why would they get an actor and design this like super badass suit just to have it thrown away at the end of the special? So we'll see.
right. Like, here's my best prediction. Whoever is inside that suit right now doesn't matter, because in the actual show itself, I'm betting that the suit will return with a different user. That is that is the guess that I am putting forward based on current information.
Yeah, could be. And of course, well, it might not be purple when it returns. Who knows?
Yeah. Uh, the color scheme for Rio Soldier is very much mirroring Kyoryuger, and Death Ryuger was a navy blue because Violet was already taking. So I'm hoping that if Geissorg is like the evil one, he keeps this purple coloring for the suit because it looks really good. And also, it's like, I believe in Japan this is an associated color with darkness, anyways.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the whole episode. Overall, it was pretty fun, surprisingly deep, I guess.
Yeah.
We have a
Oh,
lot of things to wonder. Yamato's wish, where the hell's Luca? What's this villain's deal?
yeah.
What's Rita's deal? So I'm impressed.
Overall, it's a fun, hey, check out these nostalgic veteran actors. It's, it's just a good little time. Uh, it has a couple of problems, but they don't bother me as much as they were bothering Vashi. And King couldn't make it tonight, so I'm gonna list off a few of the things that she said she liked about it. Uh, she really enjoyed Stinger in this. She's glad that he's playing the brains to Marvelous's brawn and Yamato's calm. Kind of like balancing the scale there. She didn't hate Takaharu in this episode. Neither did I. I didn't watch Ninja, but I heard the horror stories about Takaharu. He said I'm on fire once this episode, and it didn't feel bad at all. So that made me happy because that was one of the biggest gripes. Uh, she loved seeing Go on Red kick the shit out of Takaharu. uh, Actually, that's something that I was noticing too. It's like Go on Red doesn't have his engine soul, so he's not even at full strength here. What does that say about Takaharu, really? She says she immediately distrusts Rita due to PR programming. Uh, and she really enjoyed the fight scenes. Which, again, so did I. I just wish they weren't so short. We're getting quantity over quality here, and ooh, it's like a tough balance. She wasn't too fond of the Keiichiro fight in the beginning, but she really loved the last fight at the end. Which, yeah, that ending fight was actually pretty good. Let's see. Anything else we need to say on this?
Nope, I've said all my thoughts.
All right. So this is a four-part special leading up to Ryu Soldiers airing. So, like we said before, it's not gonna. It has more plot than I expected, but it's not gonna have much time to develop it. So it's gonna be pressed on fast forward. I am surprised that we're getting the reveal for Geissorg next episode still. But since we're shaping up to be having two different villains here, I'm not that surprised when I really think about it. Probably gonna resolve Geissorg first, and then Rita gets the reveal that she's actually the villain, and we get that confrontation with her to cap it all off. Because really, they couldn't be foreshadowing that Rita is a villain any harder. So, thanks for joining us tonight. Sorry it was just the two of us. Things just didn't work out for more of us to be here. We'll be back tomorrow with more Kamen Rider ZO. Things are certainly happening in that show. And next week for part 2 of Super Sentai Saikyou Battle. See you next time.
We should just start calling it ZO2. Thanks for listening.